Welcome to Monday Night Live, coming to you live from the studios of the Public Media Network, where every voice matters. Coming to you live on Pearl Harbor Day, December the 7th, 2009. Last week we had Kendra Rowe, R-O-W-E, on the program. Tonight we have Bob Rowe, and a couple of other guys in the corner we'll introduce later, the Green Valley Boys. So Bob Rowe, R-O-W-E, and Kendra Rowe, R-O-W-E, and moi, R-O-E. So 3 rows in a row. We're looking for somebody with the same name for next week if you know anybody. I need to just mention last week's program. I'm not fallible, even though 1 or 2 people know. We talked last week about the Ministry with Communities underwear open house. It's taking place as we speak out there at Borges Medical Center. People are probably going in their hundreds with boxes of long johns, combinations, woolly tops, woolly socks, because Ministry with Community know that there are people out there who need warm clothing at this time of year. I can't be there because, of course, I'm here. And you can't be there if you're watching this program. But it doesn't stop tonight. Kendra wanted me to say, you don't have to say, oh, I missed the opportunity to give warm clothing to the poor and the homeless in Kalamazoo. You can drop them off at any time you like by popping round by the back of Ministry with Community and make your donation. It isn't over until it's over. Kendra Rowe spends a lot of her time, and the volunteers who work with her and the staff in Ministry with Community, helping out those people who are less fortunate than you and I. Bob Rowe, who's with us right now at the table, he spends a great deal of his time reaching out to people who are very often lonely and not tended to in the way that he does. He has a ministry of music. So ministry, Rowe in both cases. Let's have a broad shot, and I'll talk first to the eminent, world-famous, God-fearing Bob Rowe, founder of Renaissance Enterprises. And that's not a small thing to say, Bob, is it?
The word or the mission?
Oh, well, is it Renaissance or Renaissance?
Renaissance, I think, is the common pronunciation here in the United States.
Okay.
And down in Nashville, it's y'all Renaissance.
Are we going to talk like that all evening?
No. We can talk in our jolly good English accent.
Oh, all right, old fellow. Here we go.
Leave the fellow and take the old part out.
Okay. Jolly old.
Jolly old.
Thank you very much for coming. Thanks for bringing the couple of fellows we'll talk to in a moment. But again, let's just make 1 or 2 points. You are a local lad.
I was born and raised in Battle Creek and then migrated just a few minutes west to Kalamazoo quite some time ago. So, you know, I really claim Kalamazoo as my home all these years, no matter where I've traveled in the world, and proud to say so.
And you have traveled in the world.
Quite a bit, yeah, even to jolly old England.
Even to jolly old England and Scotland.
And Scotland and Ireland and Wales.
And in Scotland you drank Merlot.
In Scotland I was surprised to find so much Merlot.
Yes, yes, yes.
Pleasantly surprised.
Good, good. And wherever you go, you shed your light and your enjoyment of music. I think what comes across, you've been on the program before, I've heard you sing, I've heard your CDs. You enjoy it.
I love it. You know, every year that goes by, I've been doing this, I think this is my 32nd year of giving concerts and performing, and I was a mere 12 when I started, of course.
Yes, yes.
And every year around this time of the year, I stop and evaluate my life, and I go, should I quit and accept some of those invitations to go in politics, you know, which that ain't going to work because I like to tell it like it is too much. Or do I want a second midlife career of some kind? And the answer always comes up a resounding no. I love what I'm doing as much, if not more, than when I started all those years ago. And being able especially to take music into places where there's so little joy and so much hopelessness and people that have so little to look forward to in their daily lives is a blessing to me. I did it as a volunteer when I started touring in clubs in cities like New York and Chicago and Detroit and so on and so forth. I would go in during the afternoon and find the local nursing home and do a program, and I was just smitten by it immediately because there was so much chemistry happening between me when I would sing a song and I would see people brought into the room totally withdrawn and totally hopeless looking, or totally blank looking, I should say, just slumped down in their chairs. And then I would start to sing to them and they would straighten up and they would come alive and they would smile, a big beaming smile, and then sooner or later start singing the words.
Yes, yes.
And I started to think, this is a powerful thing happening here. I mean, I'm sure a cynic out in the world would look at it and just fluff it off or maybe not even pay any attention to it at all. But for me, for my tender heart, it was a big deal. And I always felt, now I need to really do something with this more significantly, other than just a once-in-a-while volunteer thing. So when I got back to Kalamazoo and started talking to some of our dear friends at the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, who have been terrific supporters of ours for over 20 years, they said, we think you have a real significant idea, and we'd be willing to assist you if you would be willing to do the work to put it all together. And so the rest, they say, is history.
So you really managed to spread the word on what you're doing.
Well, and now, as opposed to doing maybe 10 or 15 or 20 volunteer programs throughout the year, our organization is doing almost 200 a year with wonderful, wonderful professional artists like the Green Valley Boys that we're going to talk to in a few minutes, and Benjamin and Annalisa Gauthier, Gloria LaRue, Susan Harrison, just so many gifted performers and artists in the community have all become a part of this endeavor and brought their great talents and gifts to those who really have so little access to them.
Yes. Naisbitt wrote a book years ago called Megatrends. What are the trends in America? And he said what he did was read newspapers. Read newspapers from New Orleans. Certain states were bellwether states. We read those newspapers. He said, you see, you know what's hot? Because a newspaper, when a news story comes in, another story has to go out. Mm-hmm. So they publish what's hot, and that's gone, that's gone. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And sometimes they make things hot for way too long.
Well, that's true, yes. But I have a feeling that tends to happen in the music industry. All you get right now is today's country music. The old-fashioned country, well, that's kind of for the older folk, and they're plugging the kind of style of the day. And what you're doing is reaching across all the styles, I think. You've played not rock and roll.
Well, yeah,
country,
folk rock,
rock.
Country rock, pure folk, contemporary Christian, gospel. Music that I think, Keith, I would call timeless music. I mean, music that you could hear 20 years ago and hear a song today like Yesterday by the Beatles, and it's still relevant in today's era and still extremely moving.
Yes. So when you go into one of these homes for retired folk, aged folk, again, you're playing music that they can remember.
That's right. And we're there for them. We play songs that they would remember. They love the great old classic church songs like How Great Thou Art or Amazing Grace, Abide With Me. Some of the old sing-along songs like Let Me Call You Sweetheart.
Anytime
As Time Goes By, yeah, all those.
Super. And we're going to hear some of that music tonight. I like to talk when I've got somebody as interesting as you, but we must make time for a couple of sets of music.
You think so, huh?
And you've... Well, they've got a guitar over there. And if we could turn the camera onto those two fine-looking young men. Did you really start at 12? No, don't answer that.
Start what?
This is a live program. We don't edit it out.
Okay.
We've got the two world-famous, and that's true, world-famous Green Valley Boys sitting on the stage. And I've got to make sure I get it right.